You heard me already, back 10 minutes later. I'm going to move this time. I spoke about movement, so I'm going to move a little bit this time. If anyone wants to stand up at any point during the talk, just don't leave the room, but otherwise you can move. That's totally fine. You know, if anyone told me 8 years back that I'd be an entrepreneur when I was actually a lawyer, and I was actually one of the most conservative lawyers you'd ever meet. I used to come to bank. I was a capital markets lawyer, so I used to come and do IPOs and all sorts of fundraising for a bunch of companies. Came to Bangalore a lot. Had you told me I'd be an entrepreneur 10 years later, I'd like to look at myself as one. I'd laugh, right, at most people. I think I was I'm a good old Parsi boy. I come from a Parsi family. My parents worked really hard. My mom's a lawyer. My dad's a CA. Business just didn't run in the system. We were just, we go to work really hard, come home. That's it. That was life. It took a lot of courage to make the change. And I'm sure everyone who's ever done that or who's ever kind of started their own thing, you need that courage. I respect you for what you've created. I think it's amazing. So, keep it up. It took a lot of courage, and it took a lot of help from a lot of people. And when I say help, it boiled down more to conversations that I had with people that believed in you. I think that's a very, very important thing for you when you kind of start off. I'll never forget this. I was in the office. I was working I worked in a firm called Linklaters, then came to India, worked at a firm called Trilegal. My managing partner once asked me out for lunch. Right? Said, we're going to go for lunch. Now, in a law firm, if you're asked for lunch by a managing partner, either you're getting sacked or you're getting promoted to partner. There's no other reason for your managing partner to come and meet you. So he took me out for lunch, and 5 minutes before I left for that lunch, one of my juniors quit. I was the senior most person in that team, and my junior quit. And that kind of got me thinking about what I was doing with my life, because I wasn't enjoying being back in India, being a lawyer. I enjoyed doing it when I was in Singapore, but for some reason, the Indian corporate system just took the joy out of it. I don't know whether that makes sense, but it did. It took the joy out of it. And we go for this lunch, and he talks to me about, we're going to announce you as the next partner in the firm. You're going to be the next capital markets partner of the firm. I looked at him, and nothing. I didn't care. As a young kid, when someone asked me what I was going to do when I was a kid, I said I'll be a lawyer because my mom was a lawyer. And every young lawyer growing up, after a point, all you want to do is a partner in the law firm. What else do you have to do? I mean, that's your end goal. So when someone tells you you're going to be the next partner and your reaction is like, yeah, whatever, you're done, right? You're done. It's over. I always had this fitness bug. I started training when I was 12 years old, right? And I've been training ever since. I'm 43 today, so I've been training for the last 31 years. Fitness just came naturally to me. Training was just part of life. I didn't think about it. When someone asked me what you're going to do with your life after law, I had no clue. I just knew I loved one thing. I was passionate about one thing. And the thing I was really passionate about was helping people. How I do it, how I'm going to make this a business. And 10 years back, fitness really, no one cared. People started caring about fitness and health once Virat Kohli started making it popular. Let's be honest. So back then, I was very lucky. I had a family that really supported me. I had a wife who said, do what you want to do, and it's fine, because I can see the effect this is having on you. Right? So it's very difficult to make that change if you don't have the right ecosystem and the right support system around you. I met an entrepreneur then. He was my mentor, Mr. Ajay Piramal. He is still my mentor. And I remember I went to him and I said, I'm going to talk to him about what I'm doing with my life. And I used to talk to him about every decision I made in my life as a lawyer, moving countries, coming back. So when I met him for the first time, when I was all over the place and I was told I'm going to make partner, I said I'm going to tell him that I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. This is not where I want to be. This does not make me happy. I'm going to do something in the wellness space, and I'm going to help people live better lives. That's the only plan I had, nothing else. To his credit, and I love him for this, he did not laugh at me. He actually said, I'm going to be your first student. Let's work on it. And he always used this as, he's always been someone who's believed in following your passion. For him, that is the most important thing. So when I sat down with him and I said, okay, he's going to throw me out of this room in 30 seconds and saying, don't be dumb, go back to your law firm, make partner. He sat me down and said, I'm your next student, when are we starting? And that makes a huge difference in your life when someone you've looked up to as a mentor in that space, not in that space, but in the space of business, and they say, I'm with you, let's do this. It gives you a whole different level of confidence. And I quit my law firm job 1 month later. I had no clue what I was going to do. And I'll talk to you about what we did on the online and the offline space. But I remember one thing that Ajay uncle told me that's always stuck with me. And I don't know whether that makes sense to anyone here, but we were having a conversation once about this, and he believes in this. He said, listen, in life there are always going to be two roads for you, right? You'll always come at a crossroad. One, everyone's taken, well-developed, you know the road, you know where it's going, everything's done. One which is just never traveled on. It's you have to find your own path. It has more risks. You may not come to your destination. You've got to make a choice. More risks, but more rewarding at the end of the day if you make it happen, or a road which everyone's taken anyway, so choice is yours. And he urged me to take the one that was less taken. And at that point, I promise you, fitness and wellness, no one really looked at. Right? People laughed at me when I kind of said I was going to leave my law firm job to become a coach. No one kind of believed. At that point, everyone used the word trainer. You're a trainer. Not a bad thing. Nothing you need to look down upon. You're a trainer. I'm like, no, I'm a coach. There's a difference between the two. Coach cares about the person they train. They want to see them do well. It's holistic. It's not only about coming to the gym and working out. So that's how the whole journey with Sohfit started. And I owe a lot of my success, or a lot of the credit that I have, to Mr. Ajay Piramal. And I will always remember what he kind of told me. When it comes down to the business side of things, since we're a bunch of entrepreneurs here, we didn't have a business plan. We didn't when we started. We just knew that we had to tap into the online as well as the offline space. And for me at that point in time, we wanted to create the biggest community in India when it came to fitness. That was my goal. We will create the fittest and the biggest community in India. There was CrossFit. It was very big in 2009, 2010. But when I kind of started this in 2017, I was like, there exists no community in India. We all go to the gym, bunch of meatheads working out there, taking off their shirts and making sure they look good. Some other people who are not confident sitting in this corner. No one really talks to each other. They're doing their own thing. They leave. And no wonder people don't stick to it. Right? We're social animals. Each one of us is a social animal. We're better when we're with people. I'm a loner, but we're better when we're with people. So we wanted to kind of tap into that. We wanted to create that community. That became very, very important to us. And that's what we built our entire ethos on as far as Sohfit's concerned. We started with the online space because that's where we could scale. That's where we could get more people. And our job was to reach out to as many people as possible and change mindsets, change lifestyles. I don't have presentations and app numbers and stuff like that. For me, it was touch and feel. I wanted to create something that was substantial. And we tried to do that. The online space gave us that reach. We have a community that today kind of spans over 30,000 people all over the world, which had you told me I would do that 8 years back, I would have just run away, right? It wasn't going to happen. What we tried to do and what we were successful at, and this is, I think, my biggest learning, is, most people when they start a fitness business or they start this business, they go straight into offline, they invest capital in real estate, which I think kills you. That's the worst thing that you can do. And then they try and build a community. What we tried to do was create the community first and then go offline. And for us, that made a lot of sense. And today, that's one of the reasons why I believe we've done what we've done. So that was more from a business standpoint and what we've tried to do and what we've tried to create. But, I mean, the only thing I would say, and I know it's supposed to be a lead talk, but the only thing I would say is that, I have a lot of respect for people who are entrepreneurs. It takes a lot. mentally, physically, takes a lot out of your time, takes a lot out emotionally as well. So hats off to each one here who does that. Hats off to each one here who hits those numbers. I think it's amazing. But look after your health as well while you're at it. I think that's the only thing I'd kind of say to you. I neglected my health. I suffered from depression as a result because I was doing something I didn't enjoy doing. And then I kind of moved to something I really love doing. And now I never really think about whether it's a Monday or a Sunday or a Saturday. It's just every day is fun. Wake up in the morning, go have fun, mix around with people, try and change lives, and you come back happy. But I know my time's up, so thank you very much. I hope that made a little bit of sense.